Hi, I'm Pat Fiume. I've been a realtor for over 30 years. I'm a host of the American Dream Show. Welcome to my show, Is This for Real Estate? Welcome back. I'm here with Fran West, otherwise known as Fran the Radon Man. Thank you for being with us today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Known you a long time.
Yeah,
so
1999, I believe.
Wow, that's scary. So how did you get started in the radon business? I know you had other expertise fields before that.
Sure. So my background, I'm a civil engineer, got into environmental engineering with a pretty large firm in Philadelphia. Always wanted to own my own company. So we started basically in an environmental firm and moved into home inspections to kind of pay a few bills. And at the time, home inspections took off, thanks to you for a lot of referrals back in the early 2000s. Yeah. I started doing radon testing in 2002. People would say, well, who do I get to fix that? So by 2004, I became the 18th licensed contractor in New Jersey. Now we're down to about 14 or 15. Yeah, there's even less now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's a highly regulated business. So
yeah, a lot of people don't want to do the paperwork.
Yeah, with regulation comes documentation and fees, of course.
Absolutely. Just like realtors, it gets very expensive to be in business yourself, and then there's a lot of paperwork. But so I guess according to the real estate process, so what happens when someone finds radon at their home? Usually it's during a home inspection, they do a test, and the next step is they call someone to remediate it or get an estimate. So I guess what's your first step at that point?
So our first step is we like to see the house. There's some contractors, they'll take information over a phone call. Maybe if there's pictures on your website or something like that, but there's usually not photographs that we need. Things, pictures in the basement,
crawl spaces.
In crawl spaces.
Little crawl spaces, right?
Yeah, so we like to see the house. Then that way we can properly design the system and properly price the system as well.
It makes sense, because you don't want to surprise you, especially if you underprice something and then you find out you got to crawl in a 3-foot crawl space on your, on your stomach to put the thing in or something.
Exactly. Yeah, it takes more time, which is more labor and materials as well, doing something like that. But so that's why we like to see every house. So that's the first part of the process. So we send our proposal out. If it's accepted, we ask that the client, responds back to that or signs our contract. The next step is to schedule the job. A lot of times it's before settlement takes place. It might be right before, or we do work after settlements as well.
Is there a permit required to do that?
There is a permit. It's a building permit and electrical permit.
Wow, okay.
We do use a licensed electrician on all of our jobs. He's a subcontractor of ours. He does every job for us. And that part of the process can take a week to some towns might take up to 2 months to issue a permit.
That's a long time.
So in those cases, we have to let the buyer of the property, because usually we're dealing with a real estate transaction. We have to let the buyer of the property know that they're going to have to get it inspected. Now, if we do the job after the settlement, the permit's in their name, and they already know they have to get the job inspected as well.
Okay.
So then, once we schedule that, we submit that permit application. We actually physically do the work. Generally, a house will take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours, sometimes 8 hours to fully mitigate a house. Within 6 hours, that radon level will drop to wherever it's going to drop to.
Which is 4.0 or below?
4.0 or below. We actually, as a company, we decided to use the World Health Organization level of 2.7 or below. Okay. So we have to guarantee to get it below 4.
Right.
But we use 2.7 as our mark. We want to see it lower than that.
Absolutely.
And we're one of the rare contractors. We guarantee our work, guarantee our price. So if our test gets, if we do, come out and do a test and we get a 3.5 post mitigation, that's not low enough. I want to come back. And I tell people that, look, I'll come back and there's no extra cost. There's the extra time of doing the extra work and the extra
Right.
test. And again, there's no cost with the extra test or anything like that. So that's why we guarantee that. And we guarantee it mostly because of the real estate transaction.
Right.
Because we're dealing with two parties, a buyer and
Yeah.
a seller.
And two realtors.
Yeah, and two
different
realtors,
companies,
yeah. So-
liability and
Exactly.
all that comes into play. So what exactly is radon?
So radon is a colorless, odorless gas that seeps into houses. When you breathe it in, it can get stuck in your lungs and it causes lung cancer.
Wow. And it's more common, I think, in like more mountainous areas, like isn't it? Or it's more frequent, I guess?
It's more frequent when you look at the statistics, especially in New Jersey, northern New Jersey, up in the mountain areas. It's definitely a lot more prevalent than here in South Jersey. But just since COVID happened,
Yeah.
we found a lot of people moving from the northern New Jersey area or New York,
Oh, yeah.
moving south.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people are settling in the Egg Harbor Township area.
Yes.
Egg Harbor Township was traditionally very low for radon. Now people are testing and we're finding a hot spot.
Egg Harbor or Little Egg Harbor?
Egg Harbor Township,
Okay.
not Little Egg Harbor.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was like, uh-oh. So can you get radon if you don't have a basement or crawl space for it to build up? Will it build up in a house?
Yes, if your floor is in contact with the ground, so if you
Wow.
have a slab,
I have a slab.
yeah, you can get radon in your house, and actually it's a little bit more dangerous on a house
Yeah, I
with a
was gonna
slab
say.
because now you're living in that space where the high radon is. So if you have a basement or a crawl space, your
It
lower
kinda-
level will be in the basement, but it does get distributed through the house through the
interesting.
heating system. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and in the house with a crawl space, we don't test a crawl space itself. We would test
That's
on
the
the
first floor. Yeah. Any other good tips for people if they suspect they have radon or if they want to do their own radon test and they're not selling their house for some reason, if they just want to know?
Test, absolutely.
Can-
So you can call me. I'd be happy to do a test. But as consumers in New Jersey, if you are not involved in a real estate transaction, you can test yourself for radon. There's home kits
I was
available.
going to ask that, okay.
Yeah, you could go to Home Depot and Lowe's. They have charcoal kits available. They also sell, I think Home Depot does sell one model of an electronic
Yes, like the
test.
home inspectors
Yeah.
use, yeah.
And but it's a home version. So the pro models that we have, the cost for
Yeah.
those is
I'm sure.
roughly $1,000
I was
each.
going to say it's not cheap,
you
yeah.
know, plus a case. You're looking at $1,500
Wow.
or so of equipment to come out and test your house. Now, for home use, there are models available that cost anywhere from $100 to $200 right now. You can get other models that monitor your air for other things. Of course, they're going to be more expensive.
And that brings up another thought, like do you do any air quality tests in homes, I guess, because of the radon? Or does radon encompass all that?
No, when we test, we just test for radon itself. Yeah, we don't include mold or anything. We don't test for mold. We're radon contractors and
That's
radon
it.
testers, and that's it.
So what areas do you service?
So we go anywhere from Cape May up to basically like Burlington County. So we cover all of South Jersey.
That's a big service
Yeah.
area,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm sure you're very busy.
Well, we are.
Yeah.
And we also have, we're a licensed laboratory for these electronic
Mm-hmm.
tests. So I have roughly 60 home inspectors that are affiliated
That was-
with my lab.
Okay.
So you might see my letterhead,
On
on
a
a
test
radon
result.
test for anywhere
That's
within the state of
interesting.
New Jersey.
I have seen that, I think, on a couple. Yeah. Do you have any funny stories? I always ask people at the end if they have a story that they tell if they're like when they go to a party or something. Have you got something funny that comes to mind?
Well, there's nothing real funny about radon, Pat. Because
Well, you're still dealing with people, though.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, we get the questions all the time. Hey, give me the price for radon, the cheapest thing possible. This isn't funny, but for us, there isn't a cheap way. There's a right way.
The right way, yeah.
So we go to get into a crawl space or something like that, and you have cobwebs hanging all
Oh,
over the
yeah.
place, and you come out looking,
Something out of an Indiana Jones movie, right?
exactly.
Like with the cobwebs.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
luckily, I don't do too much of that anymore. I have
Right.
my crew do that.
Yeah, you just go and do the inspections and the proposals, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us.
You're
It's a
welcome.
very important subject, radon, and what you do is wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks for having me.